know that that could be the reason why the author is writing a story, but today we're going to talk about the way the author organizes their writing, okay? And that's called text structures. Now, the author can organize it 5 different ways. So let me show you my notes. And that way we can talk about the 5 different ways the author could organize any story, right? All right, so when we look at text structures, a way he can organize his writing is by giving us description. So that means he's giving us a lot of detail. He's going to use words like for example, for instance, and if there's a graphic organizer, it might look like this, okay? So sometimes the author is going to write their stories in this structure and description. Another way the author can write it is by using sequencing. And this one we're really familiar with, right? Because this is how we write our stories, right? In writing time, we use words like first, right? Second, next. Don't y'all write y'all stories like that? You use the word then or finally, right? And if we're trying to organize it into a graphic organizer, we'll put it in like little boxes like this going from left to right, or we might put in boxes going from top to bottom. So this is another way the author can organize their writing. The third way is to compare and contrast. So boys and girls, compare and contrast, all that means is you're getting 2 things and you're trying to see how are they similar or how are they different or what's the same about both, right? So we're trying to compare and contrast 2 things. So sometimes when the author writes a story, sometimes they're comparing 2 things. There's a story out there, I forgot what it's called. I think we're gonna cover it probably in a couple weeks, but it's a really good story because it's gonna cover comparing and contrasting so that way you guys can get a good idea of what that looks like. Another way the author can show their writing is by doing cause and effect. So all that means is, for instance, let me ask you this. If your mom or dad doesn't put gas in their car, what's gonna happen? What's going to happen if your mom or dad does not put gas in their car? What would happen? J-Vel?
They don't have gas.
Yes, but what's going to happen to the car if they don't put in gas? Will the car be able to drive, J-Vel?
No.
No, good. The car wouldn't move, guys. If your parents didn't put gas in their car, then guess what? The car is not going to move, right? What happens if you hit your little brother or sister? What happens to you if you slap them in the face? What happens? Ariana?
They're going to go tell on you and you're going to get in trouble.
You're going to get in big trouble. Do you see how that's cause and effect? Don't worry about taking these notes because I'm going to show you that's what you're going to do for your assignment. Okay, June? So you don't have to write these right now. This is what you're going to do for your assignment today because I know it's a lot. That's why I'm going to give you time, okay? So you'll copy this in just a little bit. But you're right, Ariana. If you slap your little brother or sister, you will get into big trouble, won't you? And that's the cause and effect, boys and girls. You see, the cause is when you do something, the effect is what happens after, right? So the cause would be you hit your brother, the effect is you're in big trouble, right? Or the cause is you don't put gas in your car, the effect is you can't drive your car, right? So that's cause and effect. And then the last one is problem and solution. Now you guys should be a little familiar with problem and solution because in stories, we hear a lot about problem and solution, right? What was a problem in your story and how did it get fixed, right? And this is how the graphic organizer might look for it, okay? Does anyone have questions over text structures? Now I know it was a lot, but that's why I'm giving you class time to, I'm giving you work time. I mean, during your independent time, you're gonna just be copying these notes. Miss Waldie put a picture on our Google Classroom, and then you're gonna copy them in your journal and take a picture for me, okay? That's gonna be your assignment for today. Now, what we're gonna practice today, I need everyone, I'm gonna give you a minute to get your orange Wonders book. I want you to grab your orange Wonders book. You have 1 minute, Estrella, go get your book, ma'am. Caleb, get your book.
Yeah. I'm trying to get. Yeah.
Sure. You don't need your book or nothing?
I need this thing.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm trying to be close.
Aubrey, make sure you're getting your orange Wonders book, please. Thank you, ma'am. Good job. Good job, Noah. All right, who remembers the story we've been reading this whole week? Trokayla? What's the story called? Oh, unmute yourself so I can hear you. You got it. What is it? Or you forgot?
I forgot it.
Someone want to help her out? What's that story we've been reading, Noah?
Room to grow.
Good job, Noah. Room to grow, right? Now, who remembers the genre of this story? What's the genre that we said it is? June, you remember? What is it?
Narrative nonfiction.
Good job, June. It's a narrative nonfiction. Now, remember we talked about the characteristics of a narrative nonfiction? We said that a narrative nonfiction has to have a beginning, middle, and end. A narrative nonfiction has to have illustrations, right? So it has to have pictures in there. A narrative nonfiction tells us the events that happen in order, so they're sequenced. Also, a narrative nonfiction can be written in first person point of view or third person point of view. If you've been in my small group today, we've been practicing that, right? First person point of view and third person point of view. So really quickly, I want us to go through on page 2. And I want you to tell me, is this story written in first person point of view or third person point of view? What is this story written in? I'm going to open up the chat, so I'm going to let you type what you think. What do you think the story is written in, first person or third person point of view? Someone has said first, or 2 people have said first. Tell me what you think. Is this written in first or third? Go through the story. Don't just copy what your friends are saying. I want you to look through the story and remember we talked about the clues. So I see first. Looks like several of you are thinking first. Someone thinks third. First. Okay, so for those of y'all, because I have more first than third, for those of y'all who said first, who would like to share with me, why do you think this story is written in first person point of view? What makes you think that? Hector.
Because you said my name.
Good job. So Hector looked at the first word of the story and it's saying, my name is. Do you see how they're talking about themselves, right? They're saying, my name is Kikusato, right? And so since he's talking about himself, we know that this is written in first person point of view. Good job, Kaden. She also put in the chat some other clues she found in the story. She saw an eye. She said she saw mine, right? So good. If you see those words, then that's a clue, guys. That helps us know that this story is written in first person point of view, okay? So good job, guys. All right, so what we're gonna do today is we are going to read the story again, because that's what good readers do. We read the same story a couple times. That way, one, we can become fluent in it. Second, so we can understand what we're reading, and we're creating those mental images in our brain as we read it, right? But as you read again in your group, I want you to try to figure out what text structure did the author use for this story. So remember the text structures that we spoke about? Oh, that's not it. I'm showing you the wrong page. Okay, remember the text structures we just talked about? We talked about description, sequencing, compare and contrast, cause and effect, problem and solution. Okay, so you're gonna have, and I'll put them in the chat in case you forget the 5 names.